Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Longchamp Racecourse here on Sunday. It is October the 6th, 2019. It's Dark Day from Longchamp, and I'm going to look at all the stakes races on the program. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for racecourses around the world, and join me next weekend for the opening of the National Hunt from Chepstow in the UK. Excellent racing there, so join me for my preview for that. Also, join me in a few weeks' time for my Breeders' Cup preview from Santa Anita. But we're in the thick of the action for the fall championship races. Arc Day, pre-Arc Day Triumph, it doesn't get any better than this. We have a lot of stakes races to look at. We'll look at basically all the races we won't be looking at. I'll give you. We won't be looking at the third race, and we won't be looking at the eighth race. So we won't look at the Arabian race, and we won't look at the Grand Handicap. All the other races we'll look at. So let's get on to a lot of action. Starting off with the first race from Longchamp. It's kind of the road to the Pouliches here with this race, the French 1,000 Guineas. But the first race from Longchamp goes off at just after 2 in the afternoon, 2:15 to be exact. It goes off at 1:15 in the UK, by the way, 8:15 here in America on the East Coast in New York City. But the first race from Longchamp, it's the Group 1 Prix-Marcel BOUSSAC Stakes. Group 1 race going for a purse $461,500. Race for 2-year-old fillies here. We have a field of 9 horses going to the Longchamp Turf Course, distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the 1-mile trip on the Longchamp Turf Course. 1,600 meters, 1-mile turf course. And I show the diagram. It just gives me that little extra second to look down my notes. Just bear with me. Sorry, I'm stupid. I can't do 2 things at the same time sometimes. The top selection here, I'm going to take the 3-horse Marietta. I'm going to go 3-8 in the forecast exacta. 3-8 forecast exacta. That's the top 2 basically in exact order, which I think it's going to come in. But the top selection is 3-horse Marietta. 2-year-old filly here. Tony Piccone's on this one, 4-1. The horse's most recent outing came the 17th of August at Deauville. 7 furlongs on soft ground, similar to this ground you're going to see today, if not even softer. In the Group 3 Prix de Calvados, the horse finished second by 2.5 lengths behind Trappo, who ran a major race. But this horse, he was picking up the pieces late. I thought it was a good race there, going to the 7 furlong trip for the first time. Before that, again, against lesser quality horses in the main race at Maisons Lafitte, 6 furlong, July 13th. On drier ground, the horse won by 8 lengths, and he took off clear and just had a very good run. And then on a yielding ground at Maisons Lafitte, 5.5 furlongs in a true filly main race, the horse finished second by 1.5 lengths. Again, she ran quite well. She's going to like the longer trip to a mile today. She's drawn well, and I think she could upset at 4-1. A very small upset at 4-1, so I'll take her. Another horse, if you're going to play here, I think the 8-horse Saverney. She's the favorite here. This cheerfully by Deep Impact. Andre Farber trains when Utakataki comes in to ride this horse. She is a deserving favorite. Most recently in the Prix d'Amulie at Longchamp going the mile trip, she's a course and distance winner, winning by 3/4 length. She just won for fun there. And then before that, Deauville on yielding ground, she won for fun. She's done everything right here. She's drawn well. At even money, she's a horse. If you're going to play the multi-race, I would use her there. But I'm trying to find a different price, and I think Marietta is very, exciting, so we'll use her also as a top selection. But I think any one of these 2 can win. But to recap my selection for the first from Longchamp, it's the Group 1 Prix-Marcel BOUSSAC. Let's take the 3-horse Marietta as a top selection. We'll also give kudos to the 8-horse Savern, and we'll go 3-8 in the forecast exacta. To race number 2 now from Race number 2 from Longchamp. It's the Group 1 Prix JEAN-LUC LAGARDERE Stakes. It's a Group 1 race going for a purse of $461,500. Race for 2-year-olds only. We have a field of 7 horses going to the turf course. Distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Longchamp turf course. 1,600 meters, a mile on the turf course. The top selection here in the Jean-Luc Lagardère, I'm going to take the 6-horse Armory. I'm going to go 6-3-7 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 6-3-7 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection 6-horse Armory. Kumar-owned, Aidan O'Brien trains. Ryan Moore picks the mount up. 4-1 here, this 2-year-old called by Galileo. The horse's most recent outing came in the Group 1 Vincent O'Brien National Stakes at the Curragh, 7 furlongs, 15th of September. And the horse plays behind probably the best 2-year-old in Europe at the minute, Pinatubo, who jumped home very, very easily there, had an easy turn of foot, and this horse just wasn't catching him. Finished second by 9 lengths. He ran okay, but like I said, he just got beat by the better horse. Before that, in the Group 2 of Futurity Stakes at the Curragh, 7 furlongs, August the 23rd, the horse won by 3/4 length, and he got the job done. It was a good run, but he's had better. And then before that, Leopardstown in the Tyro Stakes, he won by 5 lengths there, and going up to the 7 furlong trip, again, he could have won around another 5 times. It was a very easy victory. And then before that, in the main race at the Curra 7 furlongs, he won by 2 1/4 lengths. And again, there he showed a lot. It was a small margin victory, but he showed a lot that day. A very, very good improving race there. He's drawn well here. He's going to like the mile trip. And Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore have won this race in the past, which is a good thing. Everything points to him, so we'll take my 4-1. You know, the 3-horse Victor Lundrum, Lorderum, excuse me, whatever I said, 3-1 here. Andre Fabre trains this one from Miguel Barcelona is on this one for Godolphin. This horse has run, he's only had 2 starts, but he's run very good numbers recently. Most recently, Shanti in a Tour Allowance novice race, he won by 3.5 lengths, and he showed a lot that day. Quickened up nicely, a very good run, and then back here in Longchamp, over the course and distance, he won by 3.5 lengths. He was drawn at the parking lot, but he showed a lot that day to win by that by that margin. He's drawn very well today. You know, he's another horse. He could get a good run. His sire Shamadal, who's been winning everything this year, it seems, his offspring. So, you know, another one for Shamadal here. But this horse has a chance. A 3-1, we'll use him also in the tickets. But to recap my selection for the second from Longchamp, it's the Group 1 PRIX JEAN-LUC LAGARDERE. We'll take the 6-horse Armory as top selection. We'll also give kudos to the 3-horse Victor Lundrum. And we'll go 6, 3, 7 in the TriCash trifecta. Now, race number 3, the Arabian World Cup. I'm not going to give you a tip in this race because it's a very tough race, and I just wouldn't feel confident giving it out a tip in the third. So we're going to head over to the featured 4th race from Longchamp. The featured 4th race from Longchamp, it's the Group 1 Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. It's a Group 1 race going for a purse of $5.7 million, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 12 horses going 2,400 meters, or the 1 mile and 1/2 trip on the Longchamp turf course. 2,400 meters, a 1.5 mile turf course here. The top selection here in the arc, I just don't see anybody beating Enable, so I'm going to take her as the top selection. I'm going to go 8-2 in the forecast exacta. 8-2 forecast exacta. Top selection is the 8-horse Enable. This 5-year-old mare by Nathaniel. Even money here. John Gosden trained this one. Frankie Dettori is up on this one for Judd Mont. She's going for her 3rd arc, something it's never been. No horse has ever won 3 arcs, and you know, it almost happened a few years ago with Trev, but Golden Horn and Dettori and Gosden, you know, didn't make that happen, but I think they can make it happen here today. You know, Enable's been pretty perfect. Last time out there, Yorkshire Oaks, a step down class, I want to say, from the race before. She was carrying the higher weight than she has as of recently, carrying 133 pounds, and she still won by 2 3/4 lengths, going a 1.5 miles at York. You know, she just could have won around another 5 times. It was a very good run. Before then, the King George, that was probably her best race to lifetime, I think. She won by next. She had to be used a lot that day, but she fought a good run that day to get the victory. And then the Eclipse, first start off the break at 1 1/4 at Sandown. She probably wasn't 100% cranked, and a 1 1/4 isn't her trip, but she still got the job done. She won by 3/4 length. It was a very good comeback victory. And then the Breeders' Cup Turf, you know, it was her best race, I thought, of 2018. She won by 3/4 length, and she just took off clear. On Raleigh ground, she didn't like. She's going to see similar ground today, you know, I don't think that's going to be a problem. She's drawn a little bit wider here, but, you know, I think good horses can overcome a wide post draw. It's better she's drawn 9 than 12, I say. One thing I want to note about last year's arc, she did win, but she had to be used a lot that day, and Sea of Class was closing up on the outside. I do think Sea of Class was the best horse last year in the race, after coming out of the race, because Sea of Class was drawn at 19. If Sea of Class had a better post draw, she probably would have won very easily, but, you know, Naval got lucky that day. But she comes to this race a lot better than last year. She has more starts, and she has a base to build on. You know, I think she's going to get the 3rd arc here, so we'll take her. If there's a horse that could possibly upset, I'll possibly do a very small each way on him if his odds go high enough. That would be the 2-horse Valdegeist. He's coming to this race very good, I think. 7-1 here. Pierre Charles Bedeau's on this one for Andre Fabre. You know, the horse won the Prix Foy at Longchamp, the local prep race for this race a few weeks ago, very nicely by 2 lengths, taking off clear. He only had 3 other rivals, but he got the job done. Before that, in the King George, he ran a decent 3rd place finish. You know, he ran okay, and then the Prince of Wales at a 1 1/4 at Ascot, he ran 3rd. He didn't run that well, but it was a 1 1/4 trip, which he didn't like. But you know, he won the Prix Guinée in April here very nicely, and then his races last year were very good. Like I said, I think the Prix Foy run was a race he could build on. You know, can he win? It's going to be a tough task for him. But like I said, if his odds go up high enough, I might do a very small each way on him. But I think Enable has this in the bag. Let's talk about some other horses here. My thoughts of starting off with the one-horse French King, Olivier Pellier, the veteran's on this one, who's won 3 arcs, if I'm not mistaken, but it's been quite a while since he won one. But this horse has been running in Germany, and he's been doing well there, but it's a massive step up in class, and I just don't think he's going to get it. He's drawn well, which is good, but even Olivier Pellier in the press earlier this week said he doesn't think anybody's stopping Enable, so when the jockey thinks he has no shot, do you really want to jump on the horse? I don't think so. The number 3 horse here for Godolphin Gaetha. I think this horse is the most overrated horse on today's program. 4-year-old colt by Dubois. William Buick's on this one for Charlie Appleby. He won in Germany a few weeks ago in the in the Prices von Baden at Baden-Baden, mile and a half. It was against lesser quality horses, but he won by 14. He won nicely, but it was again, like I said, it was against lesser quality horses. He ran here in the Prix in April, where he ran a disgusting race, but he did win the Prix de Harcourt very nicely. Wasn't the world's toughest Prix de Harcourt, but he's making, his starts are always few and far between, but and also he's drawn wide. He will set the pace, but he's just not a horse I'm going to take here. I think he's going to be very overbet. The 4-horse Kasiki, Christophe Simeon's on this Japanese invader. He ran the Prix a few weeks ago, and he ran not so well. His races in Japan haven't been up to par. If he's going to step up here, I just don't think he's going to do a lot. His only good race in Japan actually was the place behind Almanai in the in Japan Cup. Other than that, the horse has been pretty crap. Also, the wet ground, I just don't think he goes up for me, so I'm not using him. The 5-horse Blessed One Piece, Yuka Koeda is on this one. Another horse coming from Japan. He's gonna have to run a major race to win. I think the Kaseki actually has a better chance of the Japanese than this one. I'm just not gonna use this one. The 6-horse Fireman, another Japanese invader, gets Christophe Lemaire coming in to ride this one. He's run okay in Japan. He won the Tien Show, won the Jockey Club, placed in Jockey Club, won the Kiko Show last year at Kyoto. But another horse, he's stepping up in loads of class. I just don't like him here. The 7-horse Nagano Gold, Miguel Barcelona is on this one. He's drawn very wide, and he's also making a step up in class. I just don't see him winning. Enable, like I said, I think she's a very likely winner. The 9-horse Magical is the 3rd horse. I think would be the 3rd horse in my ticket. She's run very well this year, but she's always been the bridesmaid behind Enable. She's come back to the mile and a half trip. She goes up a little bit on soft ground, but she'll have to get a good run from the outside. The 10-horse Japan won quite nicely in the King Edward and in the Grand Prix de Paris here at Longchamp, but he's facing all the horses for the 2nd time, and I just don't trust him here. I think he's going to be caught out here, so we're not going to use him. Also, I didn't really like his Derby run. Soft Light, the 11-horse Yuka Takataki's on this one. He's another horse stepping up a loads of class. He's just not a use for me. And the 10-horse Sakatash, another very overbet horse, I think. He won the Prix Neil and the Prix the Jockey Club, but his races have been few and far between. Also, first time against older horses, I'm not going to take him in the arc. But to recap my selections now for the 4th from Longchamp, it's the Group 1 Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe as a top selection. Can't speak. As a top selection, I'm going to take the 8-horse Enable. We'll go 8-2 in the forecast exact. And like I said, your very likely winner is Enable here. So let's give her the 3rd arc. So now let's get to race number 5 from Longchamp. Race number 5, it's the Group 1 Prix de l'Opera. It's a Group 1 race going for a purse of $576,500, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 12 horses going to the turf course, the distance of ground of 2,000 meters or 1.25 miles on the Longchamp turf course. 2,000 meters, 1.25 miles here. Top selection to Prix de l'Opera. I'm going to go with the 2-horse With You. I'm going to go 2-7 in the forecast exacta. 2-7 forecast exacta. Top selection 2-horse With You. This 4-year-old filly by Dancel. Freddie Head trains this one. Orline Lemetry gets the mount. The horse's most recent out came the 18th of August at Deauville. 1.25 miles in the Group 1 Prix Jeanne Romanet Stakes. And the horse finished second by 3/4 length behind Coronet, who finally got her second Group 1 that day. This horse, she was closing up well. She had a good turn of foot. Since they put the blinkers on this horse, she's been improving a lot. I thought it was a good place there. As a side note, I really hope John Gosden would send Coronet to the Brews Cup turf if he doesn't send Enable, because Coronet can beat most of these horses in the Brews Cup turf going 1.5 miles for sure. We'll have to wait and see what they do after Champions Day, but I know it's not on their radar, but if they do, bet the horse right now for the Brews Cup turf. I'm just telling you that right now, because in North America, contingency in that turf division absolutely stinks. So, like I said, Beck Coronet and the Breeze Cup turf. But let's get back to our previous, our previous program here with the Prix de l'Opéra. Back to with you before the Prix Jean Romanet. She ran in the Group 1 Prix Rothschild at Deauville, 1 mile down the straightaway, and she finished second by a half length behind Laurence. And again, first start with blinkers, she went up major that day. She had a great turn of foot. She just missed, but she ran well there. And then back here at Longchamp, it's 26th of May, a mile and 8th in the Group 1 Prix d'Espagne. She finished 8th by 5.5 lengths. She wasn't she wasn't running well against the boys, and I just think it was a too tough competition there. And then in last year's Prix de l'Opéra, the first time facing older horse, she finished 4th by 2 3/4 lengths. She was closing up well. She needed that extra turn of foot late, but she still ran a decent race. With blinkers on, drawn low, the given the ground goes up with her. 4-1, let's take her. The 7-horse Medea is your second likeliest winner here. Even money, it's crap price, but John Gosden trains one. Frankie Torres on this one. She's a horse. She finished second in the Nassau Stakes very nicely last time out at Goodwood, but before that, won the Prix de la Margarette at Saint-Cloud very nicely, and then run very well in the Oaks at Epsom, but then won at Chester very nicely. Broke the main at first time against winners at Chelmsford in April. She won by 14 very nicely. She's a horse. She's going to get the distance. She's drawn well. Even money, you could see her running well also. But I'm more confident with you here. I think, like I said, back to the mile and quarter with the blinkers on, I think she's sitting on a very good run. So I'm going to go deep on her. She'll be my best bet of the day. But to recap my selection for the 5th from Longchamp, it's the Group 1 Prix de l'Opéra. Gonna take the 2-horse with you. My best bet, I'm gonna go 2-7 in the Forecast Exacta. 2-7 Forecast Exacta. So now let's get to race number. Make sure you don't sneeze for race number 6 from Longchamp, because it's going to go by in a snap. The 6th race, it's the Group 1 Prix d'Alaba de Longchamp. It's a Group 1 race going for a purse of $403,500. Race for 2-year-olds and upwards. Very unusual to have a race for 2-year-olds and older. Here in America, it's non-existent, but you don't see a lot of them. But we have 16 horses dashing the distance of ground of 1,000 meters or 5 furlongs on the turf course. My top selection, I'm going to take a shot here with the number 13 horse, Shades of Blue. I'm going to go 13-2 in the Forecast Exacta. 13-2 Forecast Exacta. Top selection 13 horse, Shades of Blue. 3-year-old filly by Kodiak here. Adam Kirby's on this one for Clive Cox. 10-1 here. Getting blinkers on this afternoon. The horse's most recent outing came the 15th of September here at Longchamp. 5 furlongs in the Group 3 Prix de Petit Covert Stakes. And the local preference for this horse race, and I thought the horse ran very good. Finished second by a nose at a low weight of 121 pounds. Had a great turn of foot. She handled this very tough 5 furlong course at Longchamp. I thought it was a good run. Coming here, a little bit more rest, a little give in the ground, which makes her go up well. I think she'll run a good race. You want a horse that can sit closer on this course, I think. Before that, she ran a Pontefract, 6 furlongs, a 3-year-old plus novice race, and she finished second by 3/4 length behind Perfection, who had a perfection of a run that day. But this horse stayed the trip well. I thought it was a good effort. And then the Summer Stakes at York, 6 furlongs. The horse finished second by Nike behind Royal Intervention, who ran that better race. But this horse, again, she stayed the trip well. And then her last victory in a listed stakes here over at Maison Lafitte. 5 furlongs. She won by a nose. She had to be used a lot that day, but she got the job done. She could sit closer. She gets a little bit of a weight break. I think she'll really get a good run. 10-1. Let's use her. The 2-horse Batash, who won this race a few years ago, he's come this race very nicely. A lot better than he did a few years ago. He finally won the Nunthorpe. He won the King George at Goodwood nicely. His only, bad race of the year, basically, was the King Stand on wet ground. That's the thing. He likes fast ground. He's going to see a give in the ground. That's going to be the biggest question with him here today. He placed in this race last year. He's going to be 4th in this race last year, where he just couldn't get enough left in the tank. But like I said, he's come this race a lot better than he did last year or the last few years. But the biggest question with him will be the wet grounds. I'm going to take a shot, like I said, with Shades Blue. I think she could get the job done. The fillies have won this race in the past. But to recap my selections now for the 6 from Longchamp, it's the Group 1 Prix d'Alaba de Longchamp. Let's take the number 13 horse, Shades of Blue, as a top selection. We'll go 13-2 in the Forecast Exacta. So now let's get to race number 7. Race number 7 from Longchamp. It's the Group 1 Prix de la FORET. It's a Group 1 race going for a purse of $403,500. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 12 horses going 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs on the turf course. My top selection here, we're going to take the number 5 horse, Safe Voyage. We'll go 5-4 in the forecast exacta. 5-4 forecast exacta. Top selection of 5 horse, Safe Voyage. 6-year-old gelding by Fast Company. Frankie Dettori's on this one for John Quinn. This horse, I have to admit, he is making up a massive step up in class. He's been running against the lesser quality horses, most recently in the Group 2 Hungerford Stakes at Newbury. 7 furlongs, August 17th on soft ground. The horse finished third by 1/2 lengths, and he was under the drive. He was excelling a little bit that day, but the winner, Glorious Journey, he's running the fastest one today. Just ran that better race, but this horse, he did show some heart there. Before that, the Curragh 7 furlongs in the Minstrel Stakes, the horse finished third by 1/2 lengths, and again, it was under the drive of the final furlong, was excelling a little bit, but it wasn't the day to win. And then the JEAN-LUC at Haydock on very heavy ground, 7 furlongs. The horse won by 1 3/4 lengths and loved every bit of the sludge. He could have won around another 5 times, won very nicely. And then Alyssa Stakes at Haydock in May on soft ground. He won by 1/4 lengths again, quickened up nicely, very easy race. And then ran in a handicap at Haydock in late April, won by 1/4 lengths again, another very easy run. This horse likes a sludge, a sludgy course. He's going to see it today. He's drawn well. He goes up with Frankie up at 6-1. Let's give Frankie another shot today. So we'll use him. I also think the 4 horse Wolfvad, hopefully I said that right, with Andrea Dezzani, this horse could get a good run. He ran the Sprint Cup most recently at Haydock, and he finished a massive 3rd place finish, and he was really turning the foot late. It was a good run. Before that in Germany in a 6 furlong Group 2 sprint race, he finished second by 1/2 lengths again. He ran good against those horses, and then in the Hackwood at Newbury, he won by 1 3/4 lengths, and he got the job done. A very good run. The 7 furlong trip, I think, is right up his alley. He'll get I like him to run a little bit wide for this race. 4-1. He's another horse you want to use here. I might actually do it instead of exacta, a normal straight exacta. I might box this exacta or go each way with them. But to recap my selection for the 7th now from Longchamp, it's the Group 1 Prix de la FORET. As top selection, we'll use the 5 horse Safe Voyage. We'll use the 4 horse Wolfvad. We'll go 5-4 in the forecast exacta. But to tell you the truth, we'll probably do it a 5-4 exacta box here, or each way combinations, but 5-4 here in the Prix de la FORET. Now race number 8, the finale on the program from Longchamp. We're not going to look at this race. It's the Grand Handicap, and it's a very tough race, and I'm just going to enjoy it as a fan, not do a bet on it, but we'll make the money with the other races. But good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and go enable